Hello, and thank you for being our guest today in Confessions of a Remote Life podcast. Today we have Manuel here. I would like for you to introduce yourself, tell us a little bit more about you.
Hi, Mary. Thank you so much for having me. I am Manuel Varela. I've been with the company for 6 years, and I am an operations manager in the field operations department. I work closely with execution and support and help things run smoothly on the field.
Manuel, when people hear your title, they imagine a certain version of you. What's something that they'd be surprised to learn outside of your title?
Um, I think people would be surprised to hear that I lead with soft hand or soft touch instead of a hard one. Um, I believe people, the best employees or the best fits, like to have space to work and clear expectations. When expectations are clear, they deliver better results. And I also think with whatever you're asking them, whatever you're required from them, task that is already pressure itself. So why add more to it? So I try to support them with that, and myself, I rather have space to work, have that confidence from my manager, and I try to give the same, give them confidence to deliver.
I like your answer, and you're right. Some people need that confidence, need that space to feel like they can do it and not their boss micromanaging them. What did your work life look like? How did you even get into remote life? Like, is this your first remote work, or did you already have the experience?
Not really, quite the opposite. My previous experience was quite the opposite. It was so before working here, I was in the construction operations. So I had to travel to job sites constantly and for weeks and be away from home for weeks. And even though I liked the fast paced and or the physical part about it, the hands on the operations, I also didn't like being away from family. That was the tough part. So I got to work remotely right before COVID strike. So I think it was both a blessing and a career change. I One of the things that I disliked about being away was well, I missed a Thanksgiving dinner once, and to me that was a turning point. And so changing to remote, I think it helps you be there when it matters, and that's something I am grateful for.
So your Thanksgiving dinner was the breaking point for you trying to find a remote job.
Absolutely. Yeah, missing that good company with family and for work, I thought it wasn't worth it.
And how did you come to find Alia and all of the remote work?
Oh, so a former employee of here recommended me, and
Oh,
yeah, and I took the opportunity, and it has been great since.
we're in a season of transition, and you know that things go up and down, people get worried, there's concern. What has been the hardest leadership decision that you had to make recently?
A good one. Um, on this fast-paced industry, you need to adapt and grow. And I think we all know that in every industry right now, one of the things that is developing the most, AI and automation. So I think it's necessary for everybody to catch up. So in order to make automation work, we have had to let go things that worked, that were working, and we have had to take risks, whether calculated risks, and those decisions are never easy, but they are necessary. I think on both the short and long run, but especially in the long run, they are necessary. I think those have been tough decisions that I've had to make.
As you were mentioning, things change constantly, and I think one of the best traits as a manager is allowing yourself to be wrong, changing your mind about things. Maybe one day you thought this was the best approach, and then you talk to your team and you get to know more experiences and you realize maybe I'm wrong, and you actually take that feedback and change. So, with that, what's something that you changed your mind on about this year as a manager?
I like that one. Um, I I used to think that speed was everything, that you needed to do everything with speed. But I've learned that slowing down is actually positive when it matters, when you need, especially during change, it might bring better results, slowing down and taking more time sometimes to think. Um, and I think it's in everything, not just in work, but also in life. Like I like to work out but you need to rest. You cannot work out 7 days a week for several hours. You need to let your body rest, slow down, and it actually pays off. When you go back to work out after resting days, uh, you feel stronger and results are better, and you let your muscles recover. So, I think it works on everything. There are moments to slow down. There are moments to speed up.
Yeah. Um, so with all of that and like your position as a manager, we have talked before about it, but I really think that being a manager is one of like the toughest positions because there's so many things that you know that you cannot tell your team straightforward. And there's so many things your team wants that sometimes it's really hard for you to be able to get it for them and they may not know the real reason behind everything. So how do you personally stay grounded when the team is feeling uncertain? How do you motivate your team?
I like that one too. Um, I think I think mindset is everything. Um, so when there's chaos, that's when leadership must show up. That's when you must show up. And you cannot control every situation, but you can control what you think, your emotions, and your words. So when you lead a large team, they're gonna take direction from you, from their leaders. So it's important that first you stay calm, and then you choose your words wisely, and you can turn any situation around. And if you stay grounded yourself, and you're gonna help your team stay grounded as well. Like I think that's the mindset. And sometimes things might be uncertain, and that's how I approach those situations. And I think it has paid off and brought good results.
Yeah. Um, Personally, I feel that most managers, the best trait they can have is making their team feel calm. And I was going to tell you, I know that in times of change and, when you're working remotely, sometimes it can feel repetitive. And people, as you mentioned, mindset for me is essential as well. Because people sometimes they might say, like, oh, I've been working for 2 years and I'm still in the same position or I still have the same salary. But sometimes you're looking at it the wrong way. I know that everybody wants salary, everybody wants a better position, but you're gaining experience. Maybe you have better networking, or it's just not your time to shine. But I do think that changing mindset is the best advice you can give to someone. Changing your perspective and trying to see things in a positive way. Maybe sometimes it's hard when there's so much pressure and, as you mentioned, so much chaos going on around. But once you start changing small habits, instead of saying, for example, every time you wake up, oh, I have to work again, you just start changing those small habits, start changing words. And instead of being negative, you start being a little bit more positive about things. And suddenly you're realizing that I feel comfortable where I am. I no longer hate working with my team, or I no longer feel like I'm dreading doing stuff I usually liked. Like you start feeling different, you start seeing things differently. And even if something bad happens, you don't take it personal anymore. Or if somebody answers a bad comment to you, or they just maybe they were busy and they just instead of saying good morning, how are you, they just said I need this done today. You start taking it less personal. You start realizing things are not always as negative as they seem. So I think that's one of the best advice that people can take nowadays with everything going on.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree with you 100%.
Talking about changing mindset and everything, what's one mistake that you made early in leadership that completely reshaped how you manage your team today?
Wow. So early on, I maybe sometimes, place trust on the wrong people, or make the wrong selections. But that's part of learning. Um, Leadership, requires, mistakes. So you either get it right and win, or you get it wrong and learn. So both outcomes are good if you're honest with them, and what you were you know what you were saying. It's being honest with yourself. But yeah, you learn to become a better leader. You have to learn, and it's part of mistakes. You won't learn if you don't get it wrong. So you have to get it wrong at some point, and then learn from it. Be honest with yourself, and not blame others. So the learning actually comes through. So I
Yeah.
think those were some mistakes I could have had before.
So that comes like if we circle back, that goes back to mindset and accountability. So part of your mindset is instead of seeing everything as disastrous mistake and they're gonna fire me and everything's wrong and I'm just gonna take the blame to somebody else that probably has no idea of what's going on. Just be accountable of it. And in my experience, I think it's better when you come up and tell your boss, for example, this happened and I want your help and how to solve it instead of just waiting for everybody to notice about your mistake and then be like, I don't know what happened, not taking accountability. It's even better when you're able to own it. One of our values here. But yeah, we're able to own it and you're able to actually be honest. Like, I think you as a manager would appreciate the honesty as well, that somebody comes up to you and understands their mistake and is there being accountable and taking action over it.
That helps a lot. And the word, when you are looking for what happened, and talking to your team, sometimes the nobody's in trouble. Please be honest.
Yeah.
Like, we need to fix this. We need to get it done, but we need to know the root cause, and nobody's in trouble. But if we're not honest, then how are we going to get there?
Yeah. And again, I think sometimes it may be a small mistake and you're scared of taking accountability. And because you don't take it, it becomes a bigger mistake because nobody notices it. But if you were just honest and upfront about it, you can fix it right away instead of waiting for it to become something bigger that maybe your manager's not going to be able to fix on time by then.
100.
But this comes to my next question, actually. How do you build trust with people that you're not able to see, people that you're not able to have in an office and just talk to them and communicate properly?
One of the top issues in remote environments. But I think consistency. Trust is built through consistency, doing what you say you're gonna do, and meeting the deadlines, following through, and even when nobody's watching, over time, it becomes, your reputation, how you act, how you do it, when you do it. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, get it done. Don't miss, don't miss on it, because it speaks about yourself, and they say nobody's going to judge you, but in real life, they will. They will judge you. So get it done. Consistency.
As a manager, I know many people want to know what separates someone who does their job well from someone who gets noticed. Like for you as Manuel, what is something people can do to get you to notice them and get you to say like this person is someone that could be bigger one day or could get a promotion?
Okay. I think it's also connected to the last one, because, consistency, but actions, actions, uh, people who go beyond their checklist. and not stop just because, oh, it's not what I have to do. It's not my job. Never say that. Go beyond, and work on yourself. If you work on yourself and put the same effort on your job, then you're going to stand out. You're going to be noticed, and you stay resilient when things don't go your way. You know, I think that matters a lot if you want to stand out. Um, it's with your mindset and your actions and working on yourself. I think that stands out, and that's going to help you stand out, especially in fast-paced environments. Genuinely, I think that's that's what stands out.
Talking about getting noticed and promotions, what is something someone that wants to grow here should be doing that isn't in their job description?
Um, Working on themselves. I think, like, if you work on yourself, increase your skills, you're going to end up bringing more value. Your growth comes from working in areas that are you're not comfortable. When you struggle, when it's challenging for yourself, it's scientific that your brain develops when you're doing challenging things you cannot do. Uh, and it works in anything in life as well. Like if you have to change something in your car, for example. Uh, the other day I had to change some low beams lights on my car, and and it was tough, but you can get it done with everything is in YouTube now. You watch in YouTube video how to change it, and you can get it done. And it's tough because it's challenging, but you're learning, and it feels good when you get it done correctly instead of having to take it, to a mechanic to do it for you. Those little things. So you grow out of when you're not comfortable, when you're challenging yourself. So work on yourself and work as hard as you're working on yourself. Then you can implement it on your job, and 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 that's not on your job description.
Yeah. As you mentioned about the light beams, you gained an experience right there. Now you can change your friends, your brothers, everybody's light beams. And it's something that maybe you're not being rewarded with a salary or with money, but you actually get that experience. Like in the future, if something happens, you already know you have that. So I think it comes to the same thing in work. Obviously, it's not going to be a light beam or a car, but let's say you learn to do Excel sheets or to prepare a dashboard for your manager. It's something maybe they're not going to reward you right there and be like, that's great. Kudos to you for doing the dashboard. But you already have that experience and you already have that skill. And it's something that you are improving. As you mentioned, you're being consistent and you're growing and you're learning. And it's better for you in the future as well.
Pays off, becomes useful in everything. So yes, I agree.
So since we're talking about consistency and growing, what would be the best career advice that you have received, and what's the worst one as well?
Okay. Um, I like this one, whatever you do, whether it's work or anything, give everything. Give your all. Don't show up with 20%, 50%, 80%. Go all in. Pour it all on. And that's when winning happens. I think that's the best advice that I try to apply. And the worst, wait for your turn. Wait for the opportunities. No, you have to look for the opportunities. Opportunities don't come by themselves. You have to dedicate time every time. You have to dedicate time every week finding those opportunities. And opportunities, you work on yourself, and then you look for those opportunities. Likelihood is that they'll show up.
I agree. Like there's this funny story from the Bible about a person asking God to send them food. And God gives them like the tree with the fruits and everything, and they're underneath the tree waiting for the fruit to just fall on them. And it's like you have the tree, just try to move it a little bit, you know? There's always obviously Um, there's always going to be opportunities, as you mentioned, and you cannot just wait for your manager to be like, you are going to have the opportunity for this. You have to prove yourself. You have to look for it. You have to. Sometimes one of the advice Marcus actually gave it to me in the last podcast we had was talk to your manager. If you have bigger dreams, if you don't feel comfortable in the position you're right now, if you maybe want to expand your scope, talk to your manager. Let them know. Because sometimes as a manager, you have so much going on, you don't have the time to actually know what every single person in your team wants. So if you don't talk, how are they going to know? How are they going to know you're uncomfortable? How are they going to know you want to change your position or you want to expand to a different area? So I think it comes to that as well.
I agree with you. That's you need to speak for yourself, and yeah, look for those opportunities. Yeah, it does work.
What is something that you wish employees understood about being a manager? Something maybe you think is overlooked or you think they have a different perception or stereotype.
The first thing that comes to my mind is managing. I think it's underestimated how much energy it can take from you mentally, even physically, from coaching, supporting, hearing, helping others. I think that's strongly overlooked, especially when you have broad teams, large teams. You need to hear everybody, and I think whatever decision you make, there's always somebody that is not going to like it. Always, and it might be the best decision ever. You rocked it. You did amazing. You did a great decision because it gave great results. Somebody is not going to be happy with it, and you need to understand that. And it's not personal, but I think managing people, it's tough. I like it, but it's underestimated, and it's not for everyone.
I think that's a great advice as well. Here in Nicaragua in Spanish, we say you're not a monedita de oro, which means you're not a gold coin. That means nobody's is gonna always be happy with you. And I think that sometimes, as I mentioned, comes back to mindset. Sometimes you just gotta understand it's not personal. It's not about you. People are just different, and you have to move on. Um, now I have a
And
question.
and on that, before you move on, exactly, like sometimes the decision that you made may even be good for that person, but it's against it,
Yeah.
but they don't know it. So yes, 100%.
So my question, who has influenced your leadership style the most, and why?
um from somebody I know or somebody I don't
Yeah,
know.
is there like any maybe a mentor, maybe one of your bosses before, even an employee, maybe somebody that gave you an advice or changed the way that you see leadership nowadays?
So I will say two then. The first one I'll talk. Yeah, my first manager ever. He was a great engineer, and he taught me a lot about execution and how to stay on top of projects. Like if you are there, the projects move. If you're not there, the projects stall. And he showed me all of this, and those teachings have created a great influence on me on how I take on challenges and how I view projects. Like I enjoy operations and execution so much, and that taught me a lot. And then that I don't know, another big influence is somebody I follow a lot is Jim Ron. I don't know if you have heard about him, but he has been a big influence for me. He's no longer with us, but he's teaching some discipline, mindset, um, personal growth, responsibility. Have taught me so much and how to think about leadership and growth that I enjoy hearing him or watching him, and I think he has shaped me a lot.
Yeah, I haven't heard about him though. I will look him up and see all of his teachings. So for this section, my last question would be, if you could send one message to your team 6 months from now, what would it be?
6 months from now. Okay, so we're beginning the year. So my message would be, you know, the work and discipline you did all year long paid off. We need to stay focused and keep keep fighting for those results because sacrifices and hard work and dedication pay off, and it will pay off.
I like that. And I hope um, everybody who listens to this gets inspired, wants to work even harder this year. As you mentioned, maybe it's not paying off right now, but eventually it will. Now we have
100%.
our rapid fire question section. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. You got to answer really fast, whatever comes up to your mind first. So,
Okay.
early bird or night owl?
Early bird, 4 a.m. You have
One,
time. You have time. Okay.
one tool you can't live without.
Excel, dashboards.
Best advice you give often, but people ignore.
Don't lie to yourself.
Coffee, tea, or I forgot to eat.
Double coffee, no sugar, black.
One word that describes this chapter of your career.
One word,
Yeah.
ready.
And what's your confession of a remote life?
I work in shorts sometimes.
That's funny. Um, well, thank you so much, Manuel. I hope that people from your team are able to see this and get inspired, get to know you a little bit more, get to see, as I mentioned in the first question, the person behind the title. Um, we appreciate having the time to talk to you. And I don't know if you have any more words to say.
Um, Thank you for the opportunity, Mary. It has been a pleasure being here with you.